Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm sure you're here, obviously, to go over our third annual TikTok study. So this year we analyzed over 87,000 accounts. And then this year, too, so we analyzed over a million videos and then added in images and carousels, another, you know, increasingly prominent format on the network. So, really excited to dive into all of the data today. Feel free to drop, oh, someone from Oregon. That's exciting. I'm from Oregon as well. Feel free to drop in where you're listening from. And also, we would love to know how you're using the platform, which content you use for your brand. I'm not sure where Alex went, but she's jumping back in. Yeah, let us know how you're using TikTok, anything that you're specifically excited for to learn about. Let's see if she's back.
Hello, I'm back. Sorry.
You're good.
I lost connection. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the little mishap there.
But yeah, excited to dive into all the data today. We're going to kind of give you just a brief synopsis of the study and then obviously drop the link to download the full study for free, so you can access all of the data. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so just kind of an overview of what you will find in the study. So the data that we analyzed is from our platform to understand how users, both professional and personal accounts, utilize TikTok for their brand or their personal brand. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to compare videos versus carousels or images. We group those together since they're image formats. And then at the end, we also have a best practices to convert the data into can't talk, strategic actions for your brand or business. So a lot to cover, but we're going to try to keep it as short as possible. And then we're going to answer some questions at the end. So feel free to drop them in the chat, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end.
Yes. And for anyone who's just joining in, this is just a reminder that you can always watch the webinar back. It's going to live on our YouTube channel, as well as if you signed up for the presentation, you will also get a link to your email after the fact as well.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the study data set. So all of the posts and accounts that we analyzed, you can see the breakdown. And in this, we analyzed both personal and professional accounts. So to kind of break that down even further, creator accounts are the default account type for any average user. So this is considered a personal account, and then professional accounts are for brands, businesses, and influencers. So when we're referring to personal and professional accounts, this is what we're alluding to.
Yeah, it can get a little bit confusing because creator accounts are personal accounts, but yeah, just keep in mind if you are using TikTok for your brand, your business, or if you're a content creator or influencer, you more than likely will fall under that professional account category, whereas a creator account would just be your normal day-to-day TikTok account.
All right. So the keys to TikTok in 2024. So one of the main data points that we analyzed was posting frequency, and we found that the average posting frequency across all account sizes was at least 2 videos per week. So in our report, we divided accounts by follower numbers. So as you can see, the tiny accounts are from anywhere from 0 to 500 followers, and it increases. Obviously, the larger accounts have a higher posting frequency where they upload almost 1 video a day. But overall, the average posting frequency was 2 videos per week.
I'm also just really curious for everyone who's here, could you drop in the comments how many videos you post a week? For us personally, we post about 5, so probably 1 each day, Monday through Friday, but it's just interesting to see. Also, you can check in the comments as well, maybe, like, if you're posting more than you need to, or if you're posting about the same as others, I think it would be, like, a good indication. So if you are already currently posting on TikTok, it'd be interesting for you to put it in the comments how often a week you do.
And then for image and carousel content, the frequency has not hit the same level as video content. So professional and personal accounts barely post one image or carousel post a week.
Which is
Okay,
interesting.
yeah, it looks like we have anywhere from 2 to 7.
Mhm.
Seems like 4 to 5 is a common range to
Yeah.
post. Someone, Ari Pullen says, depends on the client. So that is a good point. Different clients might have a different strategy or approach.
On
Uh,
the though, it's good because everyone in the comments is posting at least 2 per week, so everyone
yeah.
meeting at least the minimum of what you should be posting on a platform like TikTok.
And before we dive into more of the data, we always like to have a disclaimer that we recommend analyzing your account versus similar accounts. So if you have a range of 2,000 to 10,000 followers, you're going to look at medium account sizes. So this is important for really benchmarking and directly comparing your account to kind of these averages. All right. So 2 videos a week is the sweet spot,
Mhm.
at least.
Yes.
And then when talking about video length, we've seen a significant shift from the really short form videos, so anywhere from 3 seconds to a minute. We've seen that really change into longer form content as TikTok increases the video length um, limit. And from our report, we found that videos from 2 to 5 minutes receive the most views. I see
Which
that the little description under is in Spanish, so sorry for that, but we can explain.
Yes. Sometimes when we upload the presentations, they, like, don't fully translate all the edits that we make, which is very interesting, but like Aniston was saying, 2 to 5 minutes is kind of where you should be aiming to have your video lengths, which if you've followed along with our TikTok studies in the past, you would know that that's actually higher than before. So it kind of looks like we're trending upwards in length, which is just interesting because, of course, TikTok started off as such a short form platform. Like, we were consuming content that's like 8 seconds, 10 seconds, and now we're in that 2 to 5 minute range. So I'm curious to see if that will just continue to get longer on TikTok.
Identify Marketing asked, is there any good KPIs from carousels? And we're going to get into that, especially in terms of engagement and the best practices. But we'll definitely review kind of some good practices and goals for carousels. And then just to kind of go over that section that's not translated in English, it's basically saying that this range receives the highest amount of views, so an average of 50,000 views.
Yes.
Okay, so then talking about telling your story and knowing which video length is best, we recommend reviewing your video lengths. And this doesn't mean that you need to create, exactly 2 to 5 minute videos, because we know that the first few seconds of a video are really crucial to capture your audience. But if you have an engaging story to tell, then take your time with it. But on the adverse, if you can get your message across in 10 seconds, if it's more of a trending video content, then don't expand it to 3 minutes. Don't drag out the story.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real. It's honestly going to be very dependent on your content. Sometimes you can get your point across in 10 seconds versus 3 minutes. And I would say that I mean, we recommend this all the time, but wait, what's going to do the best for you is to just test and find out kind of what that sweet spot is for you. Because even though 2 to 5 minutes is a good indication of like where to start, maybe you can do your regular content and then aim to do like one longer video every week, and then just kind of test and see what your audience likes, what's bringing in, followers, views, comments, engagement, and then go from there and adjust your strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, Lounging with D dropped a comment and said, so you suggest 2 to 5 minute TikToks. And I think from the data, this shows an obvious kind of push towards long form content in a way that users are really starting to engage and consume more of that long form content.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we always get asked the best time to post on TikTok and the best days. This is a really important factor for reaching your audience when they're online. So, from our data, the best day to post for personal accounts is Monday, followed by Wednesday, and then professional Wednesday, followed by Tuesday. So, again, this doesn't mean that you only have to post on Mondays and Wednesdays or Wednesdays and Tuesdays, since we know that posting frequency is important. However, these days might be useful for that hard hitting brand content, engaging content, sharing value. And then when posting on TikTok in terms of the hours, we know that platforms have kind of these waves of activity. So again, it's not just a specific hour that's going to lead to virality, but these ranges. So 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., which sounds kind of crazy. From our report, received the highest views. So the same for professional accounts, the 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. range, which could indicate that we have some late night scrollers.
Yeah. Definitely some late night scrollers, and also the evenings. If you see those it's also followed by really popular evening times, which again also makes sense. Everyone's getting off of work, off of school. It's just that natural scrolling time, wind down time, and TikTok's definitely a place where you can get kind of sucked into that. So the times do make sense. And like Aniston was saying, you don't necessarily have to, verbatim post Wednesday at 2 a.m., but especially if you are just starting, like you're building your account from scratch, it could just be nice to maybe use this as a ballpark and then again adjust your strategy from there based off of what works best for your account. I'm also seeing, just in the comments to address it now, about time zone. We do get this all the time. So when we create our reports, we do this globally so that this data can be applied to whatever time zone you're in. So if you want to post with 7 p.m. being the most popular, 7 p.m. your time zone.
And then Muna just asked, will there be a recording shared? And you can access this recording on our YouTube channel. It'll stay on our YouTube channel. So yeah, feel free to skip back to the beginning if you were a little bit late. All right. And then speaking of best hours, so if you are already a Metricool user, you know that our planner has a best times feature. So this is available for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. So if you're looking to kind of find your best times dependent on your audience, Metricool's platform tracks when your followers are active to give you a really accurate understanding of when your followers are online. So in the platform, you can see that with kind of these different shades, and you can toggle on an exact percentage to know which percentage of your followers are online.
Yes. And then also, I would like to clarify too, that you do need to have like a professional TikTok account in order to see the best times on TikTok and Metricool. This is an API. So if you have a personal or creator account, you wouldn't be able to toggle on this information. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're trying to decide which account you want to have.
Mm-hmm. And then the screenshot of the app is from TikTok's native app. So they also have kind of a best times feature, tracking when your audience is online. So either of those tools you can use to understand in more detail. And then we also wanted to see which interactions users favor on the platform. So comparing comments, likes, and shares. And kind of by no surprise, likes are the most used interaction. I think it's natural for us to just, click a like button. And for comments and shares, it can show kind of a more in-depth resignation, I guess, if that's a word, that it resonates with your audience. But likes are a really important interaction for TikTok users.
Yes, definitely. And it's also, I mean, of course, when you post your video and you're seeing likes, obviously that's a great indication that people are liking the content right off the bat. But it's also always really nice to look at first comments because of course engagement is also what's going to get your video kind of propelled into that algorithm, but also the shares. Like if your content resonates enough or it's informational, educational, entertaining enough, people are clicking to share that with others and then expanding your reach. So really these all work hand in hand to kind of give you a good indication of if your TikTok content is hitting where you want it to. So although likes are the favorite interaction, definitely don't neglect the other two.
Especially because shares come in second, which is kind of surprising. But it shows that when someone views a video that they find valuable, they're going to share it with other users, helping kind of expand that content. So yeah, shares are another important interaction to analyze. Okay, and then going back to the engagement, this is the average engagement rate. So 4.69% is the overall. And then for professional accounts, it's a little under 6%, and personal a little over 7%.
And then,
So this is,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say this is interesting because, personal accounts have a higher engagement rate, which can kind of suggest that personal accounts may have a more loyal audience.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think also because, we're thinking of professional accounts as it's not just influencers, we also have the brands stacked in there. And it's very commonly known that brand content is harder to really like create those genuine connections because a lot of the times it's not necessarily just one person that you're seeing. Like maybe you're seeing multiple people from the company, or maybe it's like a faceless company account. So that's also something to keep in mind when you're looking at the professional versus personal account engagement rates. And another good thing to do that we have here of like, what is the ideal ratio? The best thing to do is to find where kind of you stack up in terms of like big, huge, tiny, small, and then kind of compare your engagement ratio to that to see if maybe, you're excelling there or if you're falling a little bit behind. And that can kind of also give you a good indication of how you can hopefully improve your engagement on TikTok.
Yeah, we have people dropping some comments of people like connecting with people rather than brands, and there's a lot of ad and brand fatigue. So we really encourage, sharing that authentic content, putting a face to your brand, and humanizing your content. And again, by no surprise, we know that the For You page is the place where you find recommended content based on your interests and behaviors. So this is the main traffic source in terms of where people find your videos, find your brand. The TikTok algorithm is really good at putting out content on the For You page that is reflected of your interests, of your behaviors, of content that they think users will enjoy. So this generates more than 60% of the total views from our report.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the study, the second main traffic sources were following, and I'm going to pull it up to see.
Yeah, I believe it was following as the second one.
Yeah. following, and I think search. So this also indicates that search is a huge part of TikTok. And if you're looking to, improve your rankings on the network, it's really important to add in those SEO practices, which we'll cover in just a second.
Absolutely. And you'll also see when we're going to drop a link to the study in the comments as well. We'll do it now and we'll do it at the end if you haven't already seen it. But when you are looking in that study, there will be a graph there, which will kind of show you like those main traffic sources. And like Aniston said, the For You and the following, when you look at those numbers, it's quite much bigger than what search is, which even though search is the third, it's still much smaller. So there is a lot of opportunity for growth there, which will just be interesting for best practices. And we'll get into that.
Okay, so like I mentioned, SEO is a huge part of TikTok visibility. So if you're looking to really attract users with organic content, adding in keywords and search intents basically whenever you can in your video. So in the caption, in the on video text, in thumbnails, in hashtags, and even in your profile bio, these can all help increase visibility and push out your content to match users' search intents.
Yeah. And here's an example of one of ours. Like if you can see on the cover, we have how to delete your TikTok drafts. We have our subtitles, captions turned on, which will have that reflected in what we're saying out loud. And then in the caption, we also have how to delete your TikTok drafts, as well as like a hashtag that relates to that, TikTok drafts, TikTok tips. So it's all working together to hopefully when someone goes to look up how to delete your TikTok drafts, hopefully we pop up at the top or kind of near the top.
And for people who are kind of wondering how to find these keywords, how to know which search intents your users are adding in the platform, we recommend both your analytics, so identifying those patterns of which content performs the best, and trying to find which questions, which pain points users are searching for. And then also, we recommend using a keyword tool to track the search volume and the trend of these keywords.
And then one other little thing you can also use is TikTok itself is actually very helpful in that sense. There's lots of creator tools that you can use to see where there's content gaps. So that means content that isn't necessarily being created that you could create more of that's in your niche. Everything like that will also be linked in the study. We'll make sure to have links and resources to those specific TikTok tools so that you can really try to amp up your SEO for this upcoming year.
Yeah, in our best practices in the actual study, there's a section that talks about the creator search insights, which is a newer feature from the platform, but it's essentially a native keyword tracking and analyzing tool. So it's super useful. If you want to look for more information, make sure to check out that section in the study.
Yeah, we use it all the time. We really love it, actually.
So if you're looking to really transform your TikTok, become a authority brand, engaging creator, we have created a self-paced TikTok school. So this is a 3-week course that kind of goes from the main concepts of optimizing your account and creating valuable content to getting into the nitty-gritty of your strategy, remaining consistent and incorporating trends, and then finally analyzing, measuring, and knowing how to reach your target audience and goals. So this is a free course available on our website, and you can scan the QR code to sign up.
Yes. And for all of you who are here live, you guys are getting first access to it because we actually haven't even announced it on any of our platforms yet. So if you do follow us on our other socials, you'll probably see some conversations about it in the coming days. But first access, and if it's meant to be a very feedback heavy course. So when you get your email sent to you, there will be tasks for you to do. You can always respond, and there is a real person on the other side. So one of us on the team will respond to you if you have any questions or need clarification on any of the sections.
And then, as promised, here is the full study. So we dropped the link, but you can also scan the QR code here. Again, fill out your email and you'll receive the full study in a PDF version. So we really recommend using this as a resource. And again, comparing your account to those similar accounts, benchmarking your averages, and adding in and incorporating those best practices to your strategy.
Definitely scan the QR code for that full study.
I'll leave this page open and go ahead and open it for any questions. So feel free to drop your questions related to the study or TikTok questions in general. We're here to help.
Yep. We'll go back and see if we also missed anything while we were going. I'm going to pop this one up just in case anyone missed it or if anyone came in late. When you are going through the TikTok study or if you are rewatching this presentation back, whenever we refer to any of the best times to post, this data was extracted globally. So the best times that we have are going to work across the board. So whatever time zone you're in, you can post at that time. Or if, let's say, you're targeting maybe somewhere else, like just apply it to whatever your local time zone is. We have this one, which isn't related to the TikTok study, but just to Metricool in general. We have been getting a lot of these questions, all of our socials and in our emails. We are listening. I promise we are looking into it. We don't have a concrete answer right now, but just make sure to stay up to date with our socials, our newsletter. If anything is to be updated, it will be there first.
We got this question twice. I'll just put this one up of how do you calculate the engagement ratio? So this is a great question. So you take your total interactions. So this is comments, shares, and likes combined divided by the total followers multiplied by 100. So that really gives you the amount of interactions based on your followers and then multiplying that by 100 to get that ratio.
And that formula will also be in the TikTok study as well. So when you're going through it, if you need to calculate that to kind of compare with that graph that we have in there, all that information will be there for you. You can also access it in our analytics too, if you do have a Metricool account.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. Just going off of another product question. So this is email notifications in the notes on Metricool. This is also something that we get pretty consistently. It is on our list to our product team. So again, just make sure to follow along on our newsletter or on our socials. We'll announce there once we have updated that feature, but it is something that we are aware of.
We got this question, will you hold a similar webinar for YouTube and how to use your website? So we don't have a upcoming specific YouTube study, but in the beginning of the year, we do have a complete social network study. So it's going to analyze all of our connected platforms. And then for how to use our website, if you have a specific question about our platform, feel free to let us know if you have any issues about searching on our website or diving into the actual Metricool software itself.
Yes. And then also you can always contact our chat support if you ever have any also specific questions there. And we're pretty good about, our social DMs as well. So you can always send us messages there. If it's not something that we can necessarily answer, we will direct you to the correct person.
This is a great question. So Metricool is a completely free platform, but we do have premium plans that are paid. So if you're looking to just, test out the platform, we highly recommend creating a free Metricool account. And then we also have a special little code for everyone today. So you can use the code TT Study to try any Metricool Premium plan 30 days for free. So if you're looking to access some of those advanced analytics, like reporting, some X analytics and best times, as they've recently changed their API.
You get extra
Let's
ad
see.
credits. Yeah, you get more ad credits. It'll also give you access to more team members if you choose an advanced plan, also the approval system. So definitely our recommendation is go to the pricing page that was linked in the comments, find the one that you think best applies to you, or you can just choose the highest plan if you want to try that as well. So you can try the full suite of features and then input that code so you can see what will really work best for you and your business.
I'm just going to drop this here too. For anyone who is curious, you can head to the site on our website and view all of our pricing and our plans.
Let's see. We have this one that says, "Does adding location on TikTok really work?" Yes, it does work, but again, it's one of those things where you will need to test. There are people who search based off of location, so it is, especially if you're creating location based content. Like, let's say you're a travel creator, or maybe you're a local business and you really want people who are searching up about the town that you're in to find your content. It is good practice to add the location if it's relevant to the content. If it doesn't really matter, then I would say it's kind of up to you. And you can kind of decide from there if it's important for you to have it on or not. But definitely for that, like location based content or travel content's like a good example. Any brick and mortar businesses, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing this one. For those of you who have joined the TikTok course, if you haven't gotten your email, please send us a message and we can add you manually to the course if you aren't happening to get it. Give it a little bit. If it doesn't come through in spam, just send us an email and we can get you that information.
This question from Daniel want to know, I am making new videos. What do you suggest to make viral videos? So we highly recommend looking at the best practices section in the study to take that data to some, strategic, actionable plan. But also there is this blog post about how to go viral on TikTok with just some tips, some strategies to really leverage your video content.
I have this one. So I'm curious about how to put music on post programs. So this is definitely, we get this question a lot, and it does make scheduling a little bit harder. So because of API limitations, no third-party platforms are able to add in those trending sound libraries. So there are a couple ways around this. You can do a manual post publishing. So you would toggle off auto publishing in Metricool, and then it would save your caption and the content. And then on the day and time that the post is supposed to go live, you can get a push notification or an email sent to you. It'll download that content and you can, you have everything ready. You just upload it and set it to go. Or, for example, sometimes the algorithms are really good about picking up sounds. So if you already want to import your content with the sound attached, it might add it to the audio page. This isn't an 100% every time, but sometimes it can catch that in the algorithms. We hope one day that they'll change this for us because it would make our own lives easier, but those are kind of the current workarounds.
So this question from David, is it possible to get data for the posts that weren't posted from Metricool? Yes. So since we have direct API data access from our connected platforms, even if you don't, publish or schedule content through Metricool, you can still track in your published content on social media. So you can find this in your analytics section to understand the metrics for your content.
I'm going to put this one up. So in terms of performance of videos versus length, so there is a little bit of a discrepancy with the rollouts of TikTok and who has what features. So we do have quite a lot of people who still don't have the 30-minute videos, who are just, getting those like 10-minute marks. So because of that, we really stuck to those like main ideal lengths. That's not to say that in the future we might not include this longer form content, especially as we're kind of seeing those averages go up, but that is why it's not necessarily stated in our study.
Okay, so kind of addressing how to use Metricool's platform properly. Our YouTube channel does have a ton of tutorials divided by platform, and feature. So if you want to understand how to use Metricool and all of its features, we highly recommend looking through our YouTube channel. And then also we do have a page on our blog that kind of overviews how to use Metricool. So you can find that within our blog under the Metricool section.
Yes. And we also have it both written out and visually. So whichever way you like to learn best, you can either watch a video or you can read about all of our features. And if you do come across something that still isn't making sense, please feel free to reach out to our customer support. They are always happy to help, especially if something, isn't working properly or you need help with connections. They are there to help for that. I'm seeing this one, which I think is a good question in terms of best practices. So it's, can I mix content in my account or should I create different for the content I want to create? I'm trying to get into the TikTok shop and UGC. So there's no like concrete answer for this. This is going to be completely dependent on the strategy you want to take. We have seen, some creators and businesses who mix a little bit, or creators more specifically, but they'll have a couple of different niches, whereas some people prefer to just straight niche down. And again, I think this is going to really depend on your goals. If you are trying to get into TikTok Shop and UGC, then maybe you are looking more at a content split. However, just keep in mind that sometimes niching down can sometimes really help you kind of grow quicker, but then it's harder to really break out of that niche. So there's pros and cons to everything. Just recommend kind of maybe testing one route. If you don't like niching down, then try content splitting and then adjusting your strategy from there. I know that's always a really hard question, especially when you're starting out, if you should niche down or have multiple different content formats.
Okay, I think we've covered all of the questions. Thank you guys so much for joining. Feel free to scan this code again. We highly recommend downloading the full study, diving into the data, and then taking those practices and applying them to your strategy.
Thank you so
And
much.
as always, if you have any questions, any concerns, any feedback, feel free to reach out to Alex and I or anyone on the Metricool team. We're here to help, and we hope you all have a great day.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to stay tuned for the next webinar because it'll be a good one.